Well, this is what we're up to today. We have issues of this hay getting too dry. And we've got water on the truck here, and move over to the left just a little bit. There, you probably run your tire right on the edge. We got Lukens driving the truck. That looks good, just like that. And we got Jacob on the back there. We're just gravitying the water off the truck. We're into the wet hay now, and it should start to clean the chopper out. So we had a heck of a time getting going today, and I'll talk about that a little later on. This hay went from dusty dry to nice stuff coming out of the pipe there. You need like a shower head put on the end of that hose, and then like an electric valve just to turn that ball valve on the tank on and off. Any problems with first or second cutting, and we got backed up yesterday. So the hay bines got too far ahead of us. Couple of the windrows up above, and just go easy, Lukens. That worked really good. He's standing up, so just kind of go a nice slow steady pace there. I wouldn't do any of these windrows on the side hill. Alex, you got enough on. Do some up on the flat. I'll see where you're at, and then do a couple over in that other field. Alright, we'll keep at it here. I think that'd be pretty good. You guys go and get your trucks. Alright, so they watered a couple of windrows in this field as well. This field here, I chopped, I started it last night and just, I couldn't stay here. Looks like they went through about 1,000 gallons on that truck. So they're going to jump in the silage trucks that they have here, and if we need to put more water on today, we'll put more on. After this couple of windrows that we have in this field, us some stuff that is just right at the right moisture. We ended up using about 2,000 gallons of water off that truck. Lukens and Jacob had to water a couple of small fields after we did that big one there. I got into a small one after we did that one big one that you seen them doing. And I plugged up between the transition chute and the blower. I said, well, you have to go back and get the water. Water every other windrow. That's what they did, and it got us out of there. So we'll keep plugging away here. This is new seed. This was wheat last year, and this is the third time this has been harvested here. So we'll keep plugging away. Hopefully we can just keep on keeping on here. Because the productivity goes way down once you start plugging up and having to unplug, and then the trucks get stacked on top of each other, and it just does not make for a good time. Because the farther you get behind, the worse it is. We got Lukens here with the Peterbilt. I don't know if we've had the Peterbilt on a black trailer before, but it's on the black Moss. The Western Star is on the red one. And we've got 5 Moss trailers running today and a couple of straight trucks. I think there's two straight trucks running today. So we'll keep plugging away here. We should be done here by tomorrow night. Up here, we'll go over into that other field to the right there. with that one field. Now we are, this one here, this is new seed as well. Planted the same day, someday in August of 2024. This is the third time we have taken a cutting off of this. And this here is a little drier than the other piece that we were chopping. I'm catching a little moisture on this end of the field. It's not as dusty going into the truck. So I'm hoping and praying that I can get through these acres here. There's about 80 or 85 acres on this farm. And then we've got a 60-acre piece to do. That was cut last of the day here last night. So we're catching the hay binds, disc binds, mowers, what have you, and we're able to capture that moisture as well. So we can just keep moving along here. We'll be able to keep it wet. I don't need to be climbing underneath this chopper, unplugging that damn transition chute. So in a minute we'll get into the reasons why we got off to a late start, or the cause for the reasons why we got off to a late start today. And I blame a lot of our problems that we had today on the problem that developed here first thing this morning. That we're having with it is the cord is a little wetter than what it has been, and the cord has been sticking to the flights of the auger. It makes it run hard. So you just have to run it a little slower and run the silo a little slower than what we normally run. We don't run it all that hard anyways. It's a 10-inch auger coming out of the started everything up, went to stage my mixer wagons, and I said, I'll crank this down or let the unloader down. We got a power winch on the side of the silo that lets the unloader down. I said, I'll let the unloader down when I go to turn the PTOs on the mixer wagon. I get out of this van. I got my haulages loaded on the mixers. I come over to the commodity shed. First ingredient I was gonna grab out of the commodity shed was cornmeal. I looked, the auger stopped. It wasn't running. I said, you son of a gun. Got out of the payloader, ran out back. I shut the silo loader off. And I ran out back. Figured I'd leave the switch on for the auger, and I would just run the auger with the breaker off the back of the building. I figured that the breaker was going to be tripped, and we were going to have to do everything for the back of the building anyways. So I got out back, and the belts were burned clean off the auger. So, well, alright. I think I got a set of belts. I had a set of belts. Put them on. Now we run a clean chute on spout up in the door of the silo. The motor blows it out the door through a little spout. We put a plastic sleeve style tube on that. And the idea of that is it doesn't really keep it any cleaner, but if you had haylage, you don't have haylage dust all up through your silo chute. Corn dust goes everywhere. The other advantage to using a clean chute is it provides a funnel, if you will, to go down into the auger or elevator or whatever you have at the bottom of your silo chute. So that was naturally all in a pile down in the funnel that goes on to that was all in a big mess. Usually that thing will fill about, that'll hold about 5 foot worth of cord, and then it'll rip off it'll pull the little band clamp thing off the spout. So that's always in a pile down at the bottom. I said, well, I'll have to clean that out. I'll get that all cleaned out. Mind you, I'm supposed to be feeding cows. I got no feed in front of any of the milk cows. I said, but if I can get this running quickly, then I can be running this slowly while I'm feeding. And I want to stand here when I get done. So, I tried to get it. I got everything all cleaned out. Belts on, but I could not get the freaking auger to run. Usually roll it back by hand, turn it on. Usually you can jump it and it'll start to go, and then it'll clean out. I couldn't get it. So my brother, he was doing some herd health things. He came out when he had a moment. Both of us worked on it for a little bit, got it going. I went back to feeding cows, and that's why I am late today. And that trickled down to the other problems that I've had here so far today. Knock on wood, it hasn't been as bad as it could have been had I not bring that water truck over. If I didn't bring that water truck over today, I'd have been fighting this machine all stinking day long. Yesterday I had plugged up down in below the chopper a couple of different times due to dry material, but I jumped fields, but I was all out of green hay. I chopped it all last night, so I had none more. And what I had to start with today was what I walked out of here last night. And luckily ride that water truck around. It works pretty good. You just take a hard line, hook it to the tank, and just gravity the water off into the windrow. I got thinking I need some kind of like a sprinkler. I got thinking a strainer that you put on a suction hose for a trash pump to throw into a pond or something. That would work pretty good. That's got holes in it, and it wouldn't allow the water to come straight out in the street. It would fan it out. That's what you kind of want. You want to fan it over the top of the windrow of the hay. And the other option is, which some guys do it, and I think every time I think about it, we get into the problem. Just as fast as we get into the problem goes away. Today, I could have had a very big, bad problem with this hay being overly dry all day, but we just went like hell and caught the mowers. You could pull I would want to pull like 1,000-gallon tank of water, and then have like a 1-inch line coming right up to the lower housing of the chopper. Actually want to inject it in just down in below that knife sharpening door, or maybe up in towards the head would probably be a little better, just so that you could get that hay before it hit the knife, so that you could get the cakey crap all off of the knife drum too. That would keep it clean. I don't really know how much you would have to, like if you used it as a maintenance type thing and just sprinkle a little bit of water in all day long to stretch that 1,000 gallons of water out. Say you apply 100 gallons an hour. Would that be enough? I don't know. Usually when we're putting water on, we're putting it on because we've had the problem too long, and everything has just got a fair amount of cakey, gummy stuff on it. Now, this farm here, luckily, I'm into some moisture here right now, and I think we're gonna luck out. I've got this field and then one more, and they get smaller as I go that way. So we've got maybe 20 acres left here, and we'll be out of the woods, so to speak. And then once it gets to be about 7:30 at night, you have the sun going down and the moisture coming back up out of the ground to help you out as well. We went till 9:30, quarter to 10 the other night, and that helped us out substantially. Other parts of the country where custom outfitters, custom operators get into chopping a lot of alfalfa, they'll only chop it at night, and they'll only bale it at night too. They actually have to have a little moisture in the hay, because you can't bale it at 9 or 10% moisture dry alfalfa, because it won't make a bale. The stuff is so dry that the baler can't press it. Now you might be wondering, or you might be saying, gee, Andy, why don't you just not cut so much hay? Well, the problem is we have to have a certain amount of hay down, a certain amount of acres down every day to keep this thing fed. You can't tiptoe around or about, better do 150 acres, so you don't want to get away on. Well, we don't want to have it get away on us. Or there's a 1/10 of an inch of rain coming. We better not cut anything. We better wait till tomorrow afternoon or whatever. We just have to go get it done. 500 acres of hay on the ground at all times. In the event that it were to maybe rain or we get a shower or something and we don't have anything down, or if we do have anything down, then it takes too long to work around that too. So you have to have it down in order to be able to get it chopped. And we'll keep plugging away here. I have been to some areas now that have some shade, so that's working in our favor. And when we get to our last field of the night, I don't know what the moisture is. My sensor is just glazed over. We're in that 52 to 55, maybe 48. Let's just say 48 to 53% moisture range. I'd rather have it on the dry side of 55 than have it on the wetter side of 65. So that's where we're at. We'll keep plugging away here. We get to the last field of the night. I'll show you what that's like, and we'll see if how our day fared as far as having it sunk for the first part of the day. I climbed that silo the other day. I was up it 7 times. Today I went up in there once to put the spout on, and the second time to check the unloader. So, yeah, we'll be back at you in a couple hours. Right now, a little Western Star. Alright. Well, here is the last field that we're going to chop. There's this one and another little tiny one up on the other side there. This looks like it's got enough moisture in it to suffice our likings to be able to move right along here. We'll get our pipe up in the air. Double click the number 1 button. That brings it over into the right hand position. Got Sarah with a partial load coming in from the other farm. Head down in place, get some material to go through the chopper. My wheels out where they need to be. Crop shield down. Need to make sure I give Sarah enough room to squeeze between us and the Ford and the fuel trailer. That'll be my way home tonight. And we're in pretty good shape there. This is the field that I videoed my nephew cutting hay in. We have not had a chance to pop the drone up, get any footage of cutting hay. Alright, get on it, yeah. Alright, there is the last load rolling out of here for tonight. We got this done. I don't know what the moisture was in here, but it was definitely where we wanted it for A, being dry enough, and B, being wet enough to be able to get it through the chopper. So you might be wondering, well, how many acres did you get done today since you were slow starting and all that. Well, we didn't hit 400. But, yeah, message up here. My thing is glazed over. We were in the chopper for 9 hours. So it's 5 after 8 right now. So that means we got going at about 11 o'clock. Did 360 acres. The cutter head was running for 6.7 hours. And I had it in field mode for 8.5. 12.7 miles on the road here today. So that's gonna do it for this video. We got done with where I wanted to get to today, but my brother slowed down cutting yesterday just because we were having problems, and it worked pretty good. It was averaged out pretty good to be. This is what he ended up getting cut here last night, and this is where we're ending up here today. And had he kept going, he would have ended up on another farm, and there would have been another 100 acres on the ground that we would have been able to do a portion of that here today if we got started earlier, but we did not. So I'm gonna take the head off this, blow it off, fuel it, get it ready for morning, and that is going to do it for this video. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will catch you at the next one. Take it easy.